just have blown Liverpool right out of the title picture.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Red and Blue Review. Nick Philpott here once again on another one of our series of getting to know you videos, getting to know one of our great loyal Crystal Palace fans. I'm delighted to be joined today by page regular Andy Ball. Andy, welcome mate, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Nick. Yeah, it's good. Lockdown's good, but you know, hopefully get back to work soon. And so next Saturday we've got the football on the telly, so getting really excited about that as well.
Next Saturday, the football is back away at Bournemouth, and sadly, we can't be there, unfortunately. But there you go. Andy, tell everybody in Red and Blue Review land where you and I met and what you do at Sellers Park, please.
Okay, so I think we met on a boat trip for the first time. I'm very lucky. I am given the opportunity to do radio commentary for visually impaired fans in the stadium and fans with learning difficulties. So for me, it's a great opportunity to give something back to the club. And we'll talk about why it's a great opportunity later on for me. But yeah, so I do radio commentary for visually impaired fans on all the home games.
And if anybody is looking at this and watching this and they are visually impaired or have any form of disability, how would they get involved, or how would they get one of the listening devices that I know the club supplies?
Yeah, so I think we have 30 headsets. They are available for fans to pick up. They would pick them up by making contact with a lady called Pam Groves, who's the Disability Liaison Officer at Sellers Park.
Brilliant. Okay, and I know there's 3 of you guys involved in it. Tell me about the other 2 fellas.
Yeah, the other 2, Roger Dixon and Chris Winter. Those 2 guys have been involved for about 15 years. They've been involved a lot longer than that. They've been involved for about 25, 30 years. I've been involved for about 15 years. I used to work at a college for young adults with visual impairments, so the RNIB in Red Hill. There was one of the lecturers there used to take the kids down to Southampton for a similar sort of service, and then he said to me one day, there's a guy up at Palace that does that, which is Roger. If you want, I'll have a word with him and we'll sort you out some tickets. So I used to take the guys up there on a regular basis. A lot of them had no functional vision. For me, it was about, I can go and watch football whenever I want. It's not an issue, but for them, nobody would have ever taken them, and it's something that they wouldn't have experienced if I hadn't taken them.
Fair
and
it's just wonderful work that you 3 do. Okay, ladies and gentlemen in Red and Blue Review land, you'll be aware that we actually did a show on this very subject. And you kindly joined us, I don't know, it was a couple of years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we discussed it in great detail. And on the back of that, we actually did a fundraising event for the guys on one of Grant's boats that Grant very kindly hosted for us. Okay, well, taking it all, this is what the Red and Blue Review family do, or even the Crystal Palace family do, is we're taking it all the way down the line now. And yes, we did a bit of fundraising, but I'm delighted to say that Grant Saunders is joining the Red and Blue Review family, and you will see him appearing on the show from time to time. And the breaking news, everybody in Red and Blue Review land, that I'm delighted to say that Andy Ball is also joining the presenter team on an ad hoc basis when his work allows him to do so. Andy, welcome aboard, mate. You are going to be an absolute asset to our team.
Thanks, Nick. You set the standard really high for me there. I just hope I don't fail to deliver.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure by the end of this interview, you'll understand the reason why we are keen to have Andy on board. So with that in mind, let's kick off with your question number 1. Very simply, mate, you're a Crawley boy, or down that way. You technically should be the Brighton and Hove Albion lot. Why Crystal Palace?
Well, I'm not a Crawley boy, first of all, and it would never be Brighton Hove Albion while I have a breath left. So long story short, my nan and granddad and dad grew up in the White Horse Road area, lived in Thornton Heath for a long, long time. And I can remember as a young kid going up there. We'd go to John's Fish Bar, we'd get fish and chips, go back to nan and granddad's house. We'd sit in their little 2-bedroom terrace house. We'd watch Dickie Davis and the World of Sports with Giant Haystacks and Big Daddy. For those that can remember, that was Shirley Crabtree was Big Daddy, and we'd Mad Mick McManus.
Yeah.
And we'd watch that in the afternoon. Nan would go screaming at the telly, "Oh, he's hurting him! What a brute!" And then we'd go up to football in the afternoon.
Superb. So, and what year would that have been in?
What year? Oh God! Well, I never started going. I remember. Well, your next question I'll answer in a minute. But we used to go up there in the late 70s, early 80s to fish and chips and watch the wrestling, because we also used to go and see Nan and Grandad on a Saturday. But my first game, which is going to be your question number 2, I think, was Grimsby Town at home. It was 1981-82 season. It was a crushing 3-0 defeat. But as an 11-year-old kid, the noise of the crowd walking up Homesdale Road, just the excitement of going to Selhurst Park for the first time, despite the scoreline, it was just like, I was hooked from that age. I was hooked. I'd always because the whole family had always been Palace fans. Yeah. I'd never got to go till I was like 11 years old, and the whole euphoria of waking up in the morning knowing I was going. I couldn't eat my fish and chips quick enough because I knew we were going to go to football afterwards for the first time. So I was really excited about that.
It's really interesting that you mentioned the atmosphere thing again. And I've been going as long as you have, maybe probably even longer than that. But I never realised the atmosphere thing was such a thing. I mean, I really got into it. And really notice, hang on a minute, Selhurst Park does create something different. Just pre to the HF days, the Homesdale lads used to sing, then the White Horse lads used to sing, then occasionally the Arthur would join in. But you mentioned the actual atmosphere in the stadium. It really is quite gripping, isn't it? And it always has been.
It's a unique stadium. No one likes coming there. You ask all your away fans, none of them like coming there. It's horrible to get to in terms of transport links. It's horrible to get to in terms of parking if you drive in. It's horrible, but it's a lovely, horrible place for us because it's ours. And I'd be gutted if they ever moved from there because it's... So yeah. But I'll give you another one. My first away game was Shrewsbury Town, and that was in 1985. It was on a Sunday. We won 2-0. It's Phil Barber and Andy Gray scored. And the reason it was on a Sunday was because on the Saturday, they had the annual Flower Festival, and they couldn't cope with the Flower Festival and the football on the same day. So they decided that they would move the football to the Saturday instead. But I can still remember now the guy walking with the little Oracle boat at Shrewsbury's ground because they have a river running beside it, and the stands were so low that if the ball got kicked over, he would have to get in his boat and go and fetch the ball back.
Well, apart from that, then, what would be, that's obviously stuck in your mind, but what would be your most memorable moment as a Palace fan?
Well, I will go to 2011, Hull City away. This is a very personal one for me. They were sponsored by a company called Cash Converters. And Cash Converters did an online competition, which I entered. I got a phone call from Cash Converters saying, I've been randomly selected because I put the correct answer, and would I like to take part in the halftime challenge? So absolutely, yeah, a halftime challenge, that would be great fun. And so I went up there, they contacted me before the game, met me at halftime, took me under the main stand, down to the far end of the stadium, away from all the Palace fans. And the halftime challenge was that there was a life-size cutout of Dean Windass, and there was a Palace fan and a Hull fan. And the idea was you had to run around this life-size cutout 3 times, and then there were 2 footballs. One was a gold one worth £100, and the other one was a silver one worth 50 quid. And if you scored, you would win £100 or £50. I have to confess, I'm not sure I ran round it 3 times, but I saw the other bloke starting to go, and I thought, well, if he's going, I'm going. And I got to the £100 before he did, and I scored. So I won 100 quid. Now, before you did this, they said, whatever you do, if you do score, don't do anything that would incite the crowd. Unfortunately, I didn't understand that part, and my jumper went over my head. I was running around the stand. It was just amazing, and I won 100 quid.
How brilliant.
Yeah, so that was a thing. But in terms of an actual game, for me, it has to be Sheffield Wednesday, 2010. So much rode on it, and I think that if we hadn't have had the point up there, I don't think as a club we would be in the position we're in now, because I don't think we would have survived. I think, I think we would have gone down. And well, we've gone down, yes, and I think we would have gone under as well.
Iconic moment in our history for absolute certainty. Okay, so since you've been watching Palace, who would be your favourite Crystal Palace player of your generation, and why?
Do you know, that is such a hard question. There's so many to choose from. You know, Wilf, you've got Jeff Thomas, Andy Gray, Bright, Wright, Speroni. But for me, I've gone for Darren Ambrose, I think I'm going to go for. He was a free transfer, 110 games, 29 goals, 14 cup matches, 8 goals. He scored so many iconic goals. You know, you look at the goal against Man United, the free kick against Aston Villa in the FA Cup, just so many and crucial goals as well. You know, you look at the goal against Sheffield Wednesday, how crucial was it? You know, a draw kept us up, a defeat sent us down, and he scored, and he was always there when we needed a spectacular moment. And even now in our commentary nowadays, we'll quite often we'll sit there, we'll have a free kick 35, 40 yards out, and we go, this is Ambrose territory. and we actually call it Ambrose territory now. So for me, Darren Ambrose for me, definitely.
I mean, and he's such a nice guy as well, isn't he? I mean, I've had the pleasure of meeting Darren on numerous occasions, and he's such a humble guy. He will talk about it, of course he will, only when you bring the subject up. And I'm quite interested to hear your answer, really, because what you don't know is, and we never spoke about this before we came on air, it was actually only this week I sent Darren a message. I sent him a text. Darren Ambrose, if you are watching this, answer your bloody text messages, because I'd love to have you back on the show and talk about your time at Palace. So, Darren, if you're watching this, give us a shout. So, really interesting stuff there, mate. Okay, so going on from that, if Darren was your favourite player, who was your favourite manager?
There's only one manager you can pick for that, and that's Steve Coppell. You know, he looked after us for 4 times. He got promoted twice. Playoff against Leicester, which we didn't quite make. He got us to the first FA Cup final. He got to the Zenith Data Systems Cup final, which we won. We finished 3rd in the league, narrowly missing out on Europe because of the, denied Europe, not missing out. We would have gone into Europe. So denied European football, and founder members of the Premier League. So for me, just so many great memories when Coppell was there. So yeah, it has to be Steve Coppell for me.
And again, we didn't speak about this before we came on air. What you don't know is when I did my getting to know you with Ian, Steve Coppell just about did it for me as well. Okay, out of all the previous managers, Steve Coppell was mine. So in that time then, around that time, we had quite a few different shirts. Which would have been your favourite kit?
I'm a lover of a striped shirt, and I've got one on today. But for me, my first kit was the 84-85 Hummel kit. It was a white shirt, red and blue sash with the arrows down the side, and on the top of the socks they had arrows, and down the side. And I just, for me, that was the kit. The away one was a red shirt with a blue and white sash. I just think the sash is just such an iconic strip. It stands out from everything else. It just looks brilliant. And so for me as a kid, all my mates were running around in Chelsea shirts. I'd get really excited putting on my football kit to go up the road and play football at the park. But as a Palace player, I always used to consider myself that I was going on trial at Palace when I went up the road to play with my mates. And yeah, so many mixed emotions when I wear that kit. That for me, the stripe kit, any stripe kit, but I'd say my first one, the Hummel 84-85 kit.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say to you, I would absolutely agree with you. I didn't choose the stripe kit, although it was my second choice as my favourite kit of all time. The thing that makes me laugh about the white shirt and the red and blue sash on it, and you've already mentioned him, he's Vince Hilaire. To me, it's Dave Swindlehurst, Kenny Sanderson. What a team that was. I mean, on that thought, I always wonder how many of those players will get into what is effectively our best ever squad now. How many of those players would get in? So, what do you actually think of our current squad?
Current squad for me, it's good. It's probably one of the strongest we've had for a long time. We seem to have this ability to have a real team of unified players, and then we get an increase, and then people get sold off, and then we have to start again. I don't know if that makes sense. But we're at that stage now. We've got that unity, and the players are all in one, and they're all pulling together. But for me, it's getting too old now. That balance between youth and experience is disproportionate at the moment, and it's tipping more towards the more experienced side. So, for me, we've got 9 games left of the season. We're relatively safe. I'm a firm believer that until it's mathematically impossible, we're not safe. But we're looking at it. We're going to be okay, I would have thought. But now's the opportunity. If I was Roy, I would be going, right, okay, let's play Sam Wood alongside Gary Cahill. Yeah. So he's going to learn from Cahill, the most experienced defender we've got in the team, with a wealth of knowledge and experience. Let's put Brandon Perrick up front with Jordan Ayew or with Benteke. Let's give them a chance. We've got 9 games. We only need a few more points to guarantee our safety. Let's do it. Let's give them a chance to get that experience. You don't get experience sitting on the bench against Colchester and not coming on. That's not how you get experience. Experience is game time. And the only way to get game time is to put them people in. Now is the opportunity. We've got 9 games to go. We're not, I don't want to tempt fate, but we're not going to go down. Let's use that opportunity. It's a free hit, if you like.
Listen, I absolutely concur with what you said. My biggest concern, and I've made my thoughts quite clear, is we are an ageing squad now. We've just extended Dan's contract to make it even worse for next season. And now, once we pick up these last couple of points that we need, and you're right, highly unlikely we're going to go down. Have to be an extreme set of circumstances for us to go down now. You're right. We are an ageing squad. It's time to blood some of these youngsters. Otherwise, they're never going to get the experience. And I couldn't agree with you.
You don't need to make wholesale changes, but you can bring 2 or 3 of them in.
Well, the other thing, of course, is don't forget now, Hodgson's got the opportunity to use 5 substitutes. I know sometimes he struggles to use one of them, and most weeks. Okay, but he's now got the opportunity to name 5 substitutes on the bench. Just use them, man. Especially if the game's safe. I mean, what more experience do we give them?
If you've got a game and you're 2-0 up and you've got 20 minutes to go, all right, I know there's no crowd in the stadium, but put 2 or 3 of the youngsters on. Give them 20 minutes. Give them half an hour. Give them that chance. Put one in from the start. That's how they get the experience. And that's almost like a free signing at the end of the season. If one of them comes good, that's a free signing.
So that's if you and I were manager, we would do that. But what about if we were the chairman? If we were the chairman, list 3 things you would change and why.
Okay. Well, I have a bugbear with the amount that players are paid. I struggle to see how anyone can justify 140,000 or 120,000 or 80,000 pounds a year, a week, just for playing football. I don't get that, and I get that it's something that we've encouraged over the years, but as a fan, that's a huge amount. So the first thing that I would do is I would reduce ticket prices and I would cap player salary.
Okay.
It used to be the working man's game, but it's clearly not now. It's hospitality, corporate, all that sort of stuff now. So I would cap player salary and I would reduce ticket prices. Second one, and I'm not sure whether you would agree with this or whether you don't agree with it. I would look at, if you buy an away season ticket, I would give free away travel wherever it is in the country, on a coach for whoever buys a season ticket away. And that's not one game, that's every game.
Interesting. Keep going.
And the third one, I think I would just upgrade facilities a little bit more. I mean, don't get me wrong, over the years, Selhurst Park has changed and it's now got a lot more, a lot better, the facilities there, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. So, you know, I would improve the facilities a lot more.
Interesting. Again, we didn't speak about these before we came on air. And when I gave my answers to the same question, my third answer was exactly the same as you just said. It's Selhurst is a shithole, but guess what?
It's ours.
It's our shithole. Of course it is.
Do you know, so many people hate coming to Selhurst Park because of how difficult it is to get there, parking issues. But it's ours, and I wouldn't want to change that. I wouldn't want to change that.
If you could go back in time and change the result of one fixture, what would it be? One match, what would it be and why? And I bet I know the answer to this.
I would go for the FA Cup final replay against Man United. You know, we'd done so well. It was a year of the underdog. We'd done so well to get past Liverpool, having lost already 9-0 that season. I was up there for the game at Anfield. And it's one of my favourite games, the Liverpool game away, purely because of the quality of the football. Liverpool would have beaten anybody on that day. Unfortunately, it was us. You know, at 6-0, if Jeff Thomas had hit the post, who knows? We might have had the fight back of the season on.
What, another Cristiano goal?
Well, sorry, he hit the post. He missed the penalty. But I think it was Ian Wright who hit the post at 0-0. So we had two opportunities there to get into the game. But I think the replay in the FA Cup, they brought in a new goalkeeper. I think it was Les Seeley. And I think, you know, our final was the semi-final almost. And then the final, we were so close. For me, I would change the replay score to 1-0 to Palace because we deserved to win that cup. We deserved that so much. To have got where they got, and to have done what they did to get there, we deserved to win that. So I was a little bit gutted that we didn't get anything. So
we deserved to win it on all bar the kit that we were wearing. How awful was that kit?
It wasn't great. I mean, you look at Watford's kit now, and you get nasty flashbacks.
Do you know what? I've never actually compared the two, but you're not a million miles off. Do you know Ian Lyons has actually got one of those match-worn shirts from that final replay? Or I wouldn't give it out from him personally because of the bad vibes he's got. So so if you didn't support Crystal Palace, who would you support? Bear in mind where you live, down the bottom of the M23.
I live exactly halfway. I'm the first line of defence when they come up. I'm on the border. I'm border patrol is what I like to look at it. That's how I like to see it. I'm border patrol.
The sniper rifle over Gatwick Bridge.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. So I guess I probably wouldn't support anybody. I'd still like football, and I'd probably watch it on the telly, but I probably wouldn't actively go and watch. But if I had to go and watch, I guess I would go local and Crawley Town. But for me, you know, a team is for life. It's not just for when they're winning. So it's good times and bad times. And not many people will know, but I've got, and I guess with lockdown and everything else, I guess now is probably a good time to talk about things like this, and the mental health issues that men face. I've got a tattoo on my arm, and it's just very simply CPFC. And for me, you know, you're saying that if Palace weren't around, who would you support? Well, there was a time when Palace very nearly weren't around. And at that time, I went through a very bad bout of depression. I had some very serious concerns. Family were very worried. I went and did counselling. I went through a really rough time. I lost a job as well. And I went through a tough time. The reason I have the tattoo on my arm is because it's a permanent reminder that there's always something positive to look forward to. And Selhurst Park's my happy place. It's the one place I go where I belong. I fit in, regardless of how I look. And this is coming off soon, hopefully. But for me, it's a happy place. And with lockdown at the moment, there's so much awareness of mental health. I just kind of want to share with people that it is okay to talk. It's really important to talk. And if your mate phones up and says, "Are you okay?" and you're not, don't just say, "Yeah, I'm okay." Tell him, because there's people there that will help you. And I think it's really important that.
Well, mate, I wasn't prepared for your answer there, okay? And I thank you for your honesty. It's something, I don't know if you've followed the show over the course of time. We've actually done shows on mental health. And it's something that, I am not an expert. I'm not a counsellor. I'm not trained. But during those shows, we were lucky enough to have Paul and Beulah from Mental Health Awareness. They're in touch with Samaritans. And, especially during this time of lockdown, we did a show on it not so long ago. And I said to people then, we're not just a Crystal Palace family, we are a Red and Blue Review family. And if anybody has just watched what you've just said and they are struggling, as I said during that live show that day, just pick up the phone. It's fine. Talk to one of the presenters. Talk to Ian. Talk to Jill. Talk to me. Pick up the phone. And if you know somebody that is struggling with, and as Andy just said, don't just ask them if they're okay. Say, look, I know you're struggling. What can I do to help you? We are a family. We are a club, one family, and the Red and Blue Review family are part of the Crystal Palace family. So if you are struggling, thank you for your words. I wasn't expecting you to say what you just said, mate, and I'm really grateful for your honesty.
Nick, I'll also put my name on that list of people that if somebody wanted to ring in, if they contact the show, I'm more than happy for you to give out my telephone number. I'm not by any means an experienced counsellor, but I have been through some serious issues, and I would be happy to listen and to support if somebody needed that sort of support.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Andy Ball, and now you know why we have invited him and he's graciously accepted to come on to the show on a regular basis. Not talking about mental health, he's going to be talking about the football, which is what we all want to do. We want to get back to talking about the football, okay? But it just shows you with his wealth of experience at the club, commentating at the club, background history of mental health issues as well, that he's quite happy to talk about. He's going to be an absolute credit to the team. Welcome aboard, buddy.
Thanks very much.
Andy Ball, I'll talk to you very soon, mate. Keep well. Take care.
All right, stay safe.